Danny Masofsky, if he had touched it.
Welcome to Instant Replay for MLS Match Day 9. I'm your host, Andrew Wiebe, and as always, we're taking a closer look at the most controversial refereeing decisions in Major League Soccer. Let's kick this show off in Utah. 60 minutes in, Diego Luna tied up with Petretta of Toronto FC on a corner kick. Petretta is squeezing. This is the famous leg lock. Luna is yanking, trying to get his foot out of there, and Sergej Dimichuk, the referee, is keeping a close eye. Now, everything pops off, and Dimichuk goes to the back pocket. Red card. Violent conduct on Diego Luna. Drew Fisher, the VAR, is checking, and not only is Fisher checking, he's recommending a review for a clear and obvious error. Fisher says, Sergej, this is not violent conduct. Take a look at the monitor. Dimichuk goes to the monitor and confirms his original decision. Red card. Violent conduct. And for me, this is not violent conduct. I see a natural motion by Diego Luna to try to get his foot out while Petretta squeezes, and by the way, doesn't just squeeze initially, keeps on squeezing and holding that foot in until the very end. I'm looking hard for a stamp or a stud drag of any kind, and I'm just not seeing it. For me, this is not a red card. How about a possible red card for Dogso in the Charlotte-San Diego match? 38th minute, Andres Reyes is already on a yellow and he is chasing Patrick Agyemang into the box. Agyemang's got a hold of Reyes' jersey here too, folks, but Reyes is holding, grabbing, and then using that right arm to hook and bring him down. So the fact is, both are holding, but the fact is also that Reyes takes down Agyemang. Initially, the call on the field from Filip Dujic is a red card for Dogso and a free kick outside the box. That would be correct, but Younes Markachi, the VAR, also spots that the hold continues into the penalty area, and that's really where the decisive pull happens. Therefore, he recommends review, sends Dujic to the monitor. Dujic takes a look, and I agree with his final decision. It's not a straight red card because, as you can see, Andres Reyes is also playing the ball with his right foot. In fact, I think he gets a piece of the ball. But the only reason he gets that piece is because he's hooking, pulling, and dragging Agyemang down with the right arm. So a foul occurs, a hold continues into the box, and then he attempts to play the ball. Therefore, penalty and yellow card is the correct decision. However, to quote Filip Dujic, that doesn't change the end result. Let's hear it from the man himself.
After review, the holding continued into the penalty area. The final decision is a penalty. The red card is rescinded, but it is a second yellow and still a red card.
But it's still a second yellow. One last note on this one. Huge credit to the announcers, Tony Husband and Ross Smith, who absolutely nailed the play-by-play of this play and the decision that followed. Well done, guys. Let's revisit a law from match day 8. That is the, quote, deliberate play of the ball in an offside situation. St. Louis, Vancouver, 25th minute. Marcel Hartl and St. Louis think they got a goal, and they need it. Only Jose Carlos Rivero, the VAR, spots an offside offense and sends the referee Pierre-Luc Lazier to the monitor. Lazier comes back and says, offside, no goal, and here's why. We are going to dig into the phrase, deliberate play of the ball. I understand and see why St. Louis are going to be frustrated on this one, but we got to put on our attorney hat with these and really interrogate the law. Think about that, quote, deliberate play of the ball in a defined way by the law's sense and not a, quote, what do I think the phrase ought to mean sense. It's not just, hey, did he deliberately try to clear? Okay, that's onside. As the law is written, the defending player, quote, deliberately plays the ball when they have, and I emphasize here, control and can dictate where that ball goes and how. To me, in this case, the Vancouver defender is not controlling or dictating where this ball goes in the clearance. It's an instinctive stretching motion to get any touch and not a controlled touch. Therefore, for me, offside is the correct call. That will not be consolation for St. Louis. Greg Berhalter probably needed to be consoled after this play in the 9th minute of the Chicago-Cincinnati game. Let's just speed this up a little bit after the contact between the referee and the Fire player. All right, continue. Okay, Evander scores. And Chicago are frustrated because they're pointing back and saying, hey, you took our guy down, referee. And Lorenzo Hernandez, the center ref, does get a piece unintentionally of the Fire midfielder. However, referees are part of the field of play, so there's no law that states that this needs to be blown dead. But I would like to see Hernandez have blown for a drop ball after he realized that play was headed the other direction on a counterattack. Why? not because it's his fault in any way, but because the Fire player is clearly going to win the ball. And the only reason the counterattack happens is because of this incidental contact with Hernandez moving into the path of that Chicago player. Again, not intentional, but I think all things considered, the most fair outcome here would be a drop ball and play does not continue on the counter. Now here's a play I absolutely agree with on the part of Hernandez. 83rd minute. Is this a penalty kick for the Fire? Watch closely. Miles Robinson is off balance, sticks a foot out, and yep, he gets Andrew Gutman. Good call there from Hernandez. I've got a good call from Alan Chapman as well in the Philly-Atlanta game in the 56th minute. Lukic is apparently looking to be sent off. He's on a yellow and he's going to obstruct play. Jovan Lukic is apparently looking to get sent off. He's on a yellow card. There's a free kick for Atlanta and he steps in front of the ball to obstruct play. It's very clear. If you delay the game in this situation in this manner, you are going to see yellow. And when you're on a yellow, the math is pretty clear as well. It's going to be a red card. Adios, Lukic. He only has himself to blame on this one. How about a good VAR review and reversal here for a good goal in the Seattle-Nashville game? 19th minute. Initially, this goal is called offside because Danny Musovski, if you're looking down the line, probably looks offside. But you've got to keep track of that defender at the bottom of the screen. If you look closely here, Musovski is clearly onside. The call on the field is off. VAR David Barry sees that, recommends review. Ricardo Fierro, the referee, goes to the monitor and gets this one right. It's a good goal. All right, now let's go through the absolute laundry list from the Portland LAFC game before we get out of here. We start in the 2nd minute. Denny Bouanga has a goal disallowed for offside. Once the flag goes up, that's it, and I don't see Daniel Radford, the VAR, getting involved because it's not going to be clear and obvious. But I want to see this flag stay down. This is razor thin. Not only is it razor thin, I don't think the AR is in position to make this call and be absolutely sure. To me, he's a couple steps behind the play, and his view is obstructed. As always, if the AR says this is clearly offside, they've got to raise their flag, but this is one that I want that flag to stay down. How about a quick look at this play in the 7th minute? Felipe Mora is in the box, and Hugo Lloris is taking him down. That's a clear foul and a penalty. Well done there from Guido Gonzalez Jr., the referee. And a second bite at the apple here for the AR in the 9th minute because Denny Bouanga is in behind and scoring, but the flag goes up. And I agree with the AR on this one. I've got Bouanga just ahead of Finn Sermon when that ball was played from Olivier Giroud. Good call on this one for me. And I've got a good decision from Guido Gonzalez Jr. in the 76th minute. David De Silva is flirting with a red card here, and Mark Delgado absolutely wants it. But I agree with Moadu on the broadcast. I'm good with the yellow card that was called in this situation. I don't see a lunge. I do see studs exposed, but I don't see a thrust through. Therefore, it's reckless rather than excessive force, in my opinion. And good call in the 87th minute as well for me. Diego Chara takes down Denny Bouanga. Gonzalez Jr. does not call it on the field, but the VAR, Dana Radford, spots it. And this is a clear foul. You can see the contact right there. That is why video review exists, folks. All right, that's it for me from match day 9. Big thanks to my editor, Aldo Medina, and my producer, Rich Hernandez. I'm Andrew Wiebe. We'll see you next time.